Yay!
Hi.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mikki, and I am a co-founder of Conscious Life Collective.
And I'm Julia, also co-founder with Mikki of Conscious Life Collective. And
I am so excited tonight. We are bringing you something so special. We have an amazing topic and a panel that we've brought together as a social wellness panel. And we have three very inspiring and community leaders who come from very different backgrounds. And we want to know, we want to pick their brains a little bit and find out how we can be more aligned with our consciousness. And I think, today we're going to go a little deeper into the conversation that we started on our last panel. And we're going to focus on how you're going to take care of yourself while you're taking care of others during these times. So Julia, take it away.
Yeah. So I'm going to introduce Dr. Davia to you, who is on the personal level, soul sister, an inspiration, a mentor on so many different levels, and definitely a transformational leader in her community. And she truly believes that collective makes us unstoppable. Her focus is especially relevant and important at this time is a great transformation. And it's to connect all of us and to create these connections with inner self and our connection to the community, and as many lives as possible are potentially being touched. And she's inspired to create longer, healthier, and happier in every aspect, life in every aspect. She's a holistic physician, intuitive, optimal life coach. She's a national speaker, best-selling author, a retreat leader, and recovering researcher. Celebrating almost 2 decades of experience working in various areas of healthcare. Very excited for you.
I have the honor of introducing to you Sammy Simpson. And Sammy communicates ideas that are worth listening, to free your self-awareness and to ignite your creativity and to leave safety behind to experience that alternative reality that is being here and now. He's the founder of Tuned In Corporation and the creator and curator of the Just Show Up, which I've had the honor to be able to watch. And he does have a weekly series, so make sure you tune into that. And it's usually, I believe, still Wednesdays at noon. And then he also is his production company called Tuned In builds wisdom development, experiential media, and self-referenced leadership for high worth dreamers. And so I'm just thrilled to have Sammy back with us.
Yes. And I am so excited to introduce our Aina, our very favorite Aina, who wears many different hats. Like, we don't even know every time we discover something new about Aina. So I'm just going to focus. Aina is a leader. Like, there's no question about it. And her ways are very soft and encouraging, so she allows people to open up and blossom in her presence. And the hats that she wears are different hats. She's an executive manager, managing director of eWomen Network at Greater Hartford chapter, which is an amazing women's community network. And she's also a feng shui master, and she also has like a totally different career and experience in finance. And she the bottom line, she's someone who supports people in every step of the way and allows them to be the best they can be at the moment that they're spending with her. And Aina, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my experience with being in your presence.
Wow, thank you.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'll tell you, we all know that we're living in very unprecedented times of challenge that are really challenging us and testing our humanity. But we're witnessing history unfold right in front of us as we're creating a new world, right? There is no such thing as normal. And so the first question that I'd love to be able to pose to our panel is that, due to the daily uncertainty that we are experiencing and that it's affecting all of us all over the world, what are you finding that the areas in your life that you are taking care of other people, and that doesn't mean like direct care, but in general, and how do you do it? What does it look like to you? So I'm actually going to start with Dr. Davia, since she just finished. She's on the other side of her retreat, and I feel like that was taking care of people in a very different way than what we would normally expect as far as care. Go ahead and unmute. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you for inviting me. It's nice to be here chatting with you. So your question is, how have I been seeing the need that people have for care? And I think I've been seeing it in two areas. One is certainly in our practice. It's been interesting. You get labeled that essential label, and you have to go in every day and you have to do patient care. And it's interesting how patients are showing up now, because I personally believe that a lot of the patients who come in and they're in pain, and the patients that I treat are pain care patients, they are coming in, I believe, because their levels of stress are just so high. And I know for sure that what happens here affects everything else in the body. And so being able to help, of course, with that has been really, really important during this time. The other area where I think I've had an opportunity to assist has been with a community that I curate. So there is a community called Ladies Power Lunch, and it's all about empowering women, and women don't need any empowering. They just need to realize who they really are, but providing a platform for women's empowerment. And during this time, just being a stable voice to provide support in that way, I feel like that has been important as well.
Absolutely. And you're right. Women don't need to be empowered. They just need to figure it out.
I love that.
Sammy, yeah. Sammy, could you share with us some ways that you are finding that, connecting with people, whether it's caring for them directly, you just recently experienced a move. And so things are very different for, you and all of us that are on here. Share with us ways that you're caring for others and how it is, what it looks like.
Sure. And thank you. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. I'm reminded of the Ram Dass quote that continually comes up in my work when he says, we're all just walking each other home. And that's very much been the story of my year through COVID, the story to myself, and where I find myself best serving as I consult and I manage. I'm a father. I have a lot of things that I go through is just very much what my masters and teachers have laid out on my path, is that it's just really reminding everyone that we're all in a state of becoming. And that is the greatest gift that we could give to ourselves. And when we can realize that the shift that's happening now is about wisdom. It's about every step has brought you to now. And what I try to do is just be the most clear and neutral mirror that I can be, so that I get out of the way and I just allow to, I'm a communicator and a messenger. And what I can give and how I can serve is just to remind people that, as Dr. Davia said, is that, we're constantly here, we're constantly in that space. And if we can drop down into our heart and just realize that what I call this awaking meditation of every step we take is absolutely on purpose to bring us to right now, we can start to maybe give ourselves a break. It doesn't take away the a lot of the hard experiences we go through, but if we can give it a greater context, and if we can start to communicate those messages to ourselves in a way to trust and accept that everything is right on time, it will really start to allow us to get out of, just all of these states that just create these cycles of trauma that continue to come up again and again and again, and we tend to cycle in those instead of just trying to find that neutral space, which is the space of our heart, that essentially is free and abundant and allows us to just kind of drop in and take that moment of meditation, take that moment to run, take that moment for yourself. Because the other thing I hear a lot is people say it's all about community now, and I absolutely agree with that. But I always challenge that thought by saying the community is only as good as everyone healed in it. So we have to find the best people in themselves. You have to choose yourself first. And when you find that time for yourself and that self-care in those little moments, you're going to start to build a pattern. You're going to recognize how life is communicating, what you need to do and how to be in the world. And then you can take the pressure cooker off and kind of step out of that heat for a little while.
Absolutely. You can't take care of others until you take care of yourself, which is why this panel came to be, right? I mean, that's why we brought all three of you together, to be able to share with our community about how it is that, you are able to help to care for others and caring for yourself at the same time. I love it. Thank you, Sammy. And yes, choose yourself first is right.
And also, you just made a comment, which I love. So I just want to read it out loud. We are in a state of becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to what you were saying, Sammy.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Aina, will you share with us what that looks like? What does caring for yourself while caring for others look like?
I have found that during this time, we actually went from fear, shock, overwhelm. And so the best way that I could serve is to create a space of like caring and love where your creativity can be blossomed, because in that creativity we can find ways to sort of take this opportunity and decide how then we can recreate ourselves in it, right? How can we blossom in this? I'm a firm believer in that things don't happen to us, they happen for us. So it is a matter of finding the opportunity in it. And I'm finding that, the feng shui portion plays a huge role in that, as, we can create a vibration that we can be creative and loving in. And especially if we are sharing space with our children or our spouses or whoever it is, or we are all alone and wanting to create a space where we feel supported, we can do that as well. And, I do take this opportunity to sort of say that this is a mirror for me. So what is showing up in front of me is very often something that I can look at for myself.
Yeah, that's. I feel very the same way about the mirror, because everything that is happening with the world to begin with is a mirror. Because somehow, somewhere, it is happening in our personal lives and our personal journeys. So we have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
Yes.
One of the things that there was like a common theme, of taking care of yourselves. Would you even just be willing to share, each of you, like specifically, is there a group that you take care of, right? Whether it's like Dr. Davia mentioned, her clients, her patients. Outside of that, what do you take care of?
Who do you want to start?
Go ahead, Aina. I didn't call on anybody. So go ahead, Aina, since you spoke.
Okay. Well, I'm finding that, as Dr. Davia mentioned, all of my roles were deemed essential. So I have been been busy with people showing up and taking care of whether it is employees or the community that I run, which is Women Network, and creating a space for them. However, I do have 3 children and 7 grandchildren who have needed support during this time, as well as my 2 animals. You know, we forget about the animals, but they feel this stress as well. And so I'm finding that that I am needing to create a calm environment for my animals as well.
You know,
How about you? Sammy? I was going to call.
Like, you know, I have the kids. You know, I just have a lot of people that that just show up. You know, I call my show that on purpose, because, you know, that I find that you know, people will show up right on time, and my promise and commitment is that when someone shows up, I'm always available, which, you know, is something that I promised as a promise to my mother, who passed away. And I realized that I wasn't as present as I should be in the last year of her life. So it was a commitment I made that anyone who calls, I will answer. And then I just, you know, took over a big media organization with a lot of moving parts and people and different departments. And, you know, and it's funny because just today I kind of laid out a vision, and the one thing I centered that vision on was just being yourself. I just said, I just want you to be yourself. It's not what we create, it's what we uncover. We're going to uncover that spark that will ignite your creativity. We're going to create a culture that lives in the state of I wonder, because when we can start to wonder, we will open ourselves up for these wild and wonderful surprises of being right on time. And what I found is that with a lot of folks is that they've been through a crazy year. They're stuck in these corporate matrices, all these different jobs and things, and they feel like that I have to produce and I have to perform and I have to create. And a lot of time it's really more about stepping back and looking over your shoulder, taking a breath, dropping down, and again, coming back home to yourself and really looking inside of you and just listening Stop letting that little voice in your head tell you need to do something, or you're a piece of junk, or whatever it may say, as mine does quite often. And I just have to put it in timeout and remind myself that when I listen and I live in the state of I wonder, I open myself up for just delight. And, you know, it's like a child, you know, the soul isn't childish, but it's childlike. And when we live in that state of I wonder, suddenly the big UPS package from the universe shows up and we're delighted by that. And I think if you can find that presence, you will find that, everything is right on time again.
Sammy, I'm in love with this, the universe, and I'm writing it down. The universe, the UPS package from the universe shows up.
Yes, I mean, wild and wonder, you know, that to me, that's wild and wonder. I love it.
I love that.
Have you ever received a package that you didn't order? And you're like, I wonder what this is. It's the same feeling.
Oh, absolutely. Intention is the most powerful thing. You know, I remind people all the time is that seed of intention manifests itself, whether it's good or bad. And so be careful what you wish for, because it comes back to say hello and reflect back to you. So, you know, make your greatest intention present in every moment, but do it from a neutral, unconditional nothingness. Don't put a charge behind it, or else you're probably going to get stung.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then, Dr. Davia, outside of your clients at your practice, you take care of a lot of other people. Oh, I think you're muted.
Yes, the reason I'm muted, guys, is because yes, I do take care of all sorts of people and places and things. So of course, if you listen closely, you probably hear my lovies in the background, my little children running about and running amok. And it's, you know, it's my life. And so this is how it is. But yes, I am certainly taking care of family, certainly taking care of staff, certainly working with the women who are a part of our community. And I just want to share this, and I'm hesitating, but I feel like it's the right place, because I know that I'm in the company of like minds. So at the beginning, when all of this started going down, I am constantly in communication with Spirit. And my message was, do not be concerned about what's going on. And guys, we've had upheaval in our family. I mean, for those of you who know me closely, you know, we have lost family members as a result of the pandemic. But I was instructed to don't be alarmed. You know, this is a time when I am asking something of you. I'm asking for you to be there for the people that you support. And don't worry about anything. Don't worry about compensation. Don't worry about anything at all. Whatever you need will be provided. Just be sure that you are there for the people who need you. And so we doubled our efforts to provide support in our Ladies Power Lunch group. When the governor said that, you know, of course, even though we are deemed essential, we have a choice. We chose to show up at work. We made a decision that we were going to be there for those who needed us because that was the calling that we received in the moment. And so I am happy. I'm really grateful to have this calling, and I'm happy to be able to share this with all y'all today.
I love it. We choose our own story. We were talking about that before you all came on. We choose our story. We choose what story we tell.
Yeah. And we do tell stories, and we do tell stories depending on what's going on around us, aligning it with what people need at the moment. And I think that's the beauty of this group, that we have people who are taking care of. It's not a coincidence that we have this beautiful group together today, because each one of these people are taking care of not only themselves, not only their communities, but also their children, their grandchildren. They're in their very private, personal environment where a lot of other people are affected by what you guys are doing. And I wanted to ask you, take you to the question where I'd like to raise this inquiry. How do you suggest that our community cultivate social wellness in their own environment, in their own communities, in their personal lives, in their homes? What do you guys, from your experience, would advise? And we can start with Dr. Davia, just because I know that she's doing it every second of the way.
You know, I would advise something that I think works for me. And it's something that Aina kind of touched on a little bit earlier. Life is happening all around us, and it's always happening. And if it's not this year with the pandemic, it's last year with something else. And next year, I promise you, I guarantee next year, there will be something else that's going on. And so being able to watch your movie, kind of look at what's happening around us with a certain level of detachment. I feel like if you're able to do that, if you're able to step back a little bit and gain a little bit of perspective, it can change the way that you experience something that might potentially be considered a bad situation. And then I am always, always suggesting that we look for the opportunities that show up in the obstacles that appear, because there's always something for us to learn. And I also believe that if you don't learn the lesson, it's probably going to show up again. So I don't know. I'm a fast track kind of girl. Want to learn it and move on to the next thing. So I'm always looking for the lesson. I'm always looking. And sometimes it's not even a lesson. Sometimes it's the experience that you need to have. Sometimes it's something that I need to learn so that I can help somebody else. So I'm always just looking, and I say this all the time, and people look at me like, what? I'm always watching my movie. I'm checking it out. I'm seeing what's going on. I'm approaching it with this level of detachment that is necessary for you to really gain perspective.
Wow, I love that. And I think that I would ask Sammy to take it away, because this is Sammy. This is a perfect prelude to that neutral space that you often speak about.
Yes, absolutely. I was just thinking about, I don't know how many of you or who out there has seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix. A lot of people are watching that. Is about the algorithm that's been created, that technology is used to essentially brainwash us with devices, is the idea. And it's very frightening when you look at that idea, because there's these computers that are learning our habits, and they're using the power of persuasion in everything from the thought bubble that you see on a text message, and you wonder, what are they writing back? And then you see the tag that pops up on your phone that says, you've been tagged in a picture on Facebook, and everyone goes, oh, I have to check it out. They've created this urgency and this addiction. And I always say, you know what? You have your own algorithm. It's always there. It's just what Dr. Davia was saying. If you can find that neutral space. I was going back to look I do a lot of Akashic readings, and one of the things that came out this past time when I did it said the masters and teachers say you have to meet them at their reality and show them a way across the bridge, because so many are entering the greatest levels of transition they've experienced in their lifetime, leaving much behind, and they're embracing what the EMTs call new blueprints for themselves. So I think if you look around, you'll see that so many people, I'm sure you see them in your groups, I see them everywhere, as people are so excited. One of my friends talked to me the other day and just said, I'm so tired of people telling me they found the light and want to show me the light, kind of thing. It's like, well, that's what's happening right now. And there's that algorithm in you. And notice how so many people are noticing that in their own way, in their own time, in their own space, in their own, whatever purpose that may be. And that's what I always say as well. Step back, find that neutral space, and what you will find is that there's a pattern that has evolved through every step of your life that has a point to it. And in that point, you can empower yourself to collaborate and co-create your story in a way that you become in command. Because control, we forget, is all fear-based. We want to be in control because we're afraid. We don't want to happen again. We don't want to live that trauma again. But the moment that you find that neutral space and find command, you won't be afraid again. I can guarantee you that.
Wow. I needed to hear that today.
Take the reins, Sammy. Take the reins.
I love that. Wow. That is a conversation of its own. I think we should have that just as a topic.
Well, I think too, if I can just add really quick, I'm like, the beauty is that, we're witnessing folks that are here, is that you're finding more and more are stepping out with their command, and they're building those bridges, and they're using bridge language, and they're building paths for folks to find that, it's not a box, it's a seed. We plant those seeds in everything that we do, and then that seed creates a frequency, and then that frequency creates transformation. So thank you to all of you.
Amazing. And we have people joining us and commenting, and I'm surfacing some of the commenting, and Leslie is sending love right now, which is the highest frequency there is. Mm-hmm. So I would say let's seed love as much as possible. Well, I think that for the next panel, Mikki, I think that we have an idea of what to talk about, right?
I agree. And our next panel is October 20th, same time, 7 p.m. I'm super excited. Aina, did you have any last words that you wanted to share with us about?
Sure. It's interesting because, I'm hearing a theme, even though they're in different contents, right? And it's, I very often say you are either in love or fear. And so I found that during this time, I call it being my own observer. And that's what I just encourage everyone that I speak to is be your own observer and pay attention to what you're paying attention to. Pay attention to how you respond, how you react. and then question yourself, is this love or is this fear? What would love do in this situation? And so during this time, I I don't like to say that it's been hard and challenging. It's like it's really truly been this opportunity to reassess where our lives are and where we want to go. And do we want to come from the heart so things are light, or do we want to, step into fear and really ponder on what is right? My kids will tell you that's how I do decision making and help them when they come with questions to me, and clients, or anywhere else. It's that do what feels light, not right, and you will be in alignment with who you are meant to be, and make the decisions that your soul is supposed to make. So I think that's a huge theme here, and I think it's been a great opportunity to reassess what is important, and I think we all have. I mean, there's been a lot of different areas that have been uncovered. I found this period of time to be a time where the darkness is being exposed with light, which is we are shining the light on them so we all become aware of them. And then it's up to us to decide how can we put some love into this situation, and where do we want to go with it.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Aina. And you know what? I wanted to leave like a few minutes to Q&A. And as you were speaking, Aina, it was really touching people. And someone is asking, unfortunately, I can't see the person's name.
That's my friend Cindy.
Okay. So do you want to?
So she's asking how to turn off the storylines in our head, especially overthinking or relaying the chatter of what we need to do, especially in the middle of the night.
Mhm.
Right?
Oh, for me, it would be, first of all, take 3 deep breaths, because once you start breathing, this starts unplugging, right? And then really, like, even put your hand on your heart and tap into, what would love do here? What is my soul yearning to do? And journal, whether it is in the middle of the night or not, because I like to get things out of my head so that my soul can move forward.
Yes. I love that. What would love do here?
Right.
I love that. Thank you, Aina. Anybody?
Opportunity. I heard the word opportunity. I heard the word wonder. Just being open and light. Serving others. Just trusting and knowing that we are taken care of as we move forward to serve others, Dr. Davia.
Yeah.
That's one of my mentors would always say, be compassionate for the human condition. And I always remembered that line. And, I was talking to a friend just the other day, and I said, even in my greatest doubt, there was something beyond that I always knew was cradling me. And I'm always grateful for that awareness. And one of the things that, that helps me, I think the breathing is such a great idea, of just kind of, focusing on your breath and just finding that love inside of your heart. And then also, as you think about leaning into a structure, just create something tangible that falls together with ease for you. A lot of people try to force things in. Oh, I've read a book or a program, and all those things are absolutely marvelous tools, but they may not be the tool for you. Find what falls together with ease for you, because what's right for you is what's going to be easy, not hard. And I think so many people try to challenge themselves in thinking, suffering is a part of this, and it is absolutely not. It is absolutely not.
It's not. Oh my God, this is so right on. I was at the amazing lecture done by astrologer Yael Yardeni. She's a Kabbalistic astrologer, and she said this is a time when we need to find our own prayer, not the prayer that everybody says we should have, but we should find our very own connection to the Creator, our very own words to ask, to connect, to communicate, to say thank you. And not necessarily the same as what different teachings are teaching. You need to find your very own connection. And I think, Sammy, it's exactly that. It's what's right for you.
Yeah, remember, choose yourself, right? You are your own salvation. There's nothing out of you that's going to save you. It is you. You. And that's the part that I wish our world was different, is that so many people are caught up in everything that I need is outside of me. Everything that you need is a mirror of you that comes together with ease, and you are the salvation with the free will and the power to choose that brings your life to life. Don't forget that power.
Amazing. This is such a great place to like complete this conversation and to be looking forward for more, because this is delicious and so fulfilling and so important. And maybe any of you guys, our panelists, want to say anything before we would say thank you for this beautiful evening.
I'd like to say something, Julia. I love all the things that we've all been saying, and I just want to draw back on a little bit of scientific neurolinguistic programming, if you will, and say that, you know, practice is what makes things perfect. And so the question was about what happens in the middle of the night, and I would say, don't wait until the middle of the night to start practicing your breathing exercise.
Very well.
Don't wait until the moment that you are in a crisis to actually reach for that inner peace, but start practicing that inner peace every day. Sammy says about doing what works for you, because we are all different and we're all going to, like you said, Julia, interact with spirit in a very different way. My conversations with spirit are very casual. It would be very probably surprising for my grandmother to hear the way that I talk to spirit, but it works for me. Practice. I would encourage everybody to think about, how am I feeling in this moment and the next moment and the next moment, kind of checking in right through the day and not just waiting until that time when we feel like we're in a crisis to reach for the breath or reach for the practice that helps you to get through it.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. I cannot wait to go deeper into these conversations, because they are essential for our well-being, for our physical well-being, mental well-being, for our communities, our families, and for self-love and self-care. So I also wanted to thank everyone, because everybody is wearing Untamed cards. I had to say that. Thank you so much, including Sammy. He's wearing his necklace. So thank you, because Untamed Heart's work is all about this, what we're speaking about here right now. It's about living with intent and conscious living. So
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. We so appreciate you joining us this evening. I hope we get a lot of people watching this and watching it on replay, and commenting, and maybe even still asking questions after the fact. I feel like this group is a very attentive group, and if you have any questions afterwards, please feel free to put them in the comments, because I'm sure if it wasn't addressed, there are some things that we could share with you.
We can comment back. And if you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel so that you will get an alert for the next time we're live, which is October 20th.
At 7 o'clock.
Third social channel, social channel. Yes, October 20th at 7 p.m. And have a beautiful week, year, life, everybody. Love yourself and send it to other people as well.